A business lunch is a valuable opportunity to strengthen relationships, network, or negotiate in a more relaxed, yet still professional setting. In this video, we shall discuss key things to keep in mind to ensure a successful business lunch. Let's get started. 6 essential etiquette and tips you should know about a business lunch. Welcome to alamode, where life meets style. If you're looking for a place to unwind, learn, and grow, hit that subscribe button and join our incredible community. 1. Pre-planning. Effective pre-planning sets the tone for a successful business lunch and ensures that all elements of the meeting align with your goals. The venue plays a key role in creating the right environment for the lunch. Opt for a restaurant that is quiet and professional. It should provide an atmosphere conducive to conversation, allowing you to discuss business without interruptions or loud background noise. Additionally, choose a restaurant that offers a variety of menu options to accommodate different dietary preferences. If you know your guests' preferences or restrictions, take them into consideration while selecting the venue. One way to demonstrate professionalism and preparedness is by making reservations in advance. When making a reservation, confirm the details with your guest to ensure the timing and location are convenient for both parties. Etiquette starts with proper planning. Anticipate how to handle the logistics of the meal, such as who orders first, when to introduce business topics, and how to address dietary restrictions or preferences. Pre-planning for a business lunch involves more than just picking a restaurant. It's about setting up a framework for a smooth and productive meeting, reflecting professionalism, and ensuring all details align with the purpose of the gathering. Proper preparation is essential to making a lasting impression. 2. Etiquette and presentation. Etiquette and presentation are key elements that contribute to the professionalism and success of a business lunch. Your behavior, appearance, and manners will influence how others perceive you and the meeting's outcome. Even though the setting may be more relaxed than an office meeting, you should still dress professionally. Your attire should reflect the formality of the occasion and the culture of the business environment you're engaging with. If in doubt, err on the side of being slightly overdressed rather than too casual. Punctuality is a sign of respect and professionalism. Arriving a few minutes early gives you the opportunity to settle in, confirm any reservations, and ensure everything is ready when your guest arrives. Never keep your guest waiting, as this can leave a negative impression and suggest disorganization. Basic table manners go a long way in conveying professionalism. Wait for everyone to be seated before ordering, and follow your guest's lead if you're unsure of the protocol. When it comes to ordering, be mindful of your choices. Don't order the most expensive item on the menu unless encouraged, and choose something that's easy to eat to avoid any mess or awkwardness during the meal. It's also good practice to suggest that the guest order first, or to follow the host's lead if you are not the one initiating the meeting. Your body language speaks volumes, often more than words. Sit up straight, maintain good eye contact. Similarly, keep your phone out of sight unless absolutely necessary, as checking it can signal disinterest or distraction. Mastering etiquette and presentation at a business lunch reflects professionalism and respect. It shows your awareness of social and business norms, fostering an environment that supports productive discussions and strengthens relationships. 3. Conversation and conduct. The conversation and overall conduct during a business lunch play a significant role in shaping the success of the meeting. Striking the right balance between professionalism and a relaxed atmosphere is key to fostering good relationships while achieving your business objectives. Engaging in small talk at the beginning of the lunch helps break the ice and set a more comfortable tone before diving into business matters. Discuss light and neutral topics such as travel, recent events, industry trends, or mutual interests. Active listening is essential to making your guest feel heard and valued. Instead of focusing solely on what you want to say next, concentrate on what your guest is communicating. Demonstrate engagement through verbal and nonverbal cues, such as nodding, maintaining eye contact, and asking follow-up questions. Paraphrasing or summarizing key points also helps show that you're paying attention. Business lunches are not the place for divisive or overly personal discussions, especially if you don't have a strong rapport with the other person. Avoid topics like politics, religion, or personal finances unless you're certain they're appropriate for the context. Focus on shared interests or industry-related subjects to keep the conversation professional yet engaging. A well-chosen topic that aligns with the other person's interests can help build rapport and make the meeting more enjoyable. A business lunch is meant to blend professional goals with personal connection. While it's important to discuss business matters, don't rush into them. Allow the conversation to flow naturally from small talk into business topics. A successful business lunch conversation is balanced, with both parties having an opportunity to contribute equally. Don't dominate the discussion or interrupt the other person mid-sentence. Let them finish their points before responding. If you notice the conversation has been one-sided, invite your guest to share their thoughts or opinions. Disagreements or differences in opinion may arise during a business lunch. Handle these diplomatically by acknowledging the other person's perspective and responding calmly. Avoid arguing or being confrontational. Instead, offer your viewpoint as part of a broader discussion, framing it in a way that fosters dialogue rather than debate. Once the business discussion concludes, smoothly transition back to lighter conversation. This allows the lunch to end on a pleasant, less formal note. It's important not to drag out the business talk if it feels like the other party is ready to move on or wrap up. A thoughtful, polite conclusion to both the business and social portions of the lunch ensures the meeting ends on a high note. Mastering the art of conversation and conduct during a business lunch is about creating a comfortable environment while keeping the meeting productive. 4. The business discussion. A business lunch is a strategic opportunity to discuss professional matters in a more casual and relaxed setting. However, timing, tone, and delivery are crucial to ensure the business discussion is productive without undermining the social aspects of the meeting. The timing of when to introduce business topics is critical. Don't rush into the business talk immediately after sitting down. Allow some time for small talk and relationship building during the appetizers or early part of the meal. A general rule of thumb is to wait until after the initial pleasantries or when the main course is served before transitioning into business topics. This allows both parties to relax and settle into the conversation, fostering a more open and engaging dialogue. However, if the other party initiates the business conversation earlier, be flexible and prepared to engage. Transitioning to business should feel natural and seamless. Once the business conversation begins, it's important to be clear, concise, and focused. Don't overwhelm your guest with too much information or delve into overly complex details unless it's necessary. Structure your points in a logical order and keep the discussion direct. This ensures that your key messages are communicated effectively without making the conversation feel too formal. Focus on the primary objectives of the meeting, whether it's closing a deal, discussing a proposal, or addressing a specific challenge. Leave room for questions and follow-up discussion, but avoid going off topic. While you want to address business matters, remember that the setting is more informal than an office or boardroom meeting. Keep the tone conversational rather than overly formal or corporate. Being too rigid or serious may cause the conversation to feel forced or uncomfortable, so adapt to the casual environment while still staying professional. The business discussion should be a two-way conversation, not a one-sided presentation. Encourage your guests to share their thoughts, feedback, or concerns. This fosters a sense of partnership rather than a hard sell approach, making the conversation more dynamic and productive. If the business lunch involves negotiations, whether it's over pricing, contracts, or terms, it's essential to be diplomatic and maintain a positive tone throughout. Avoid hardball tactics or aggressive bargaining during the meal, as it can sour the atmosphere. Instead, approach negotiations with a focus on mutual benefits and problem solving. Emphasize the value you bring to the table and seek win-win solutions. If the negotiation becomes too detailed or complex, suggest continuing the conversation in a follow-up meeting. This prevents the lunch from becoming overly tense or transactional. Pay attention to your guests' verbal and nonverbal cues throughout the discussion. If they seem engaged and interested, continue with the business talk, but if they appear distracted, tired, or uninterested, consider shifting the conversation back to lighter topics. Business lunches are often as much about relationship building as they are about specific deals, so be flexible and adapt based on the energy of the meeting. Before the lunch concludes, briefly summarize the key takeaways or action points from the business discussion. Summarizing helps solidify agreements and provides clarity for follow-up. While it's important to cover the necessary business topics, avoid dragging out the conversation unnecessarily. Once the main points have been discussed, it's time to move back to lighter, casual topics or bring the lunch to a close. Overextending the business talk can make the lunch feel tedious or formal, detracting from the rapport-building aspect. Once the business portion is wrapped up, express your gratitude for the opportunity to meet and discuss these matters in person. Compliment your guests' insights or contributions, and end the conversation on a positive and forward-looking note. Mastering the business discussion during a lunch meeting requires balance, focusing on your objectives while maintaining a casual, engaging environment. 5. Handling the check. Handling the check at a business lunch is a delicate yet important part of the meeting, and how you manage this can leave a lasting impression. In most cases, the person who initiates or extends the invitation to the business lunch is expected to cover the bill. If you were the one who arranged the meeting, it's your responsibility to take care of the check. This is a widely accepted business etiquette rule and reflects your role as the host. If you are the guest, it's appropriate to offer to pay or at least split the bill, but in most cases, the host will insist on covering it. One of the keys to handling the check gracefully is doing so discreetly. Avoid making a big scene or discussing the bill at the table. If possible, arrange with the server in advance to bring the check directly to you or settle the bill before the meal ends. This ensures that the transition is smooth and doesn't disrupt the flow of the conversation. Alternatively, when the check arrives, you can take it calmly and handle it without drawing too much attention. Keep the transaction quick and professional, avoiding any unnecessary back and forth over who should pay. In some cases, particularly when senior executives or clients are involved, they may insist on paying the bill. In such situations, offer to cover it but be prepared to graciously accept if they insist on paying. Know when to allow someone else to take charge, especially if there is a hierarchy at play. Tipping is an important part of handling the check, as it reflects your appreciation for good service and professionalism. Be mindful of tipping customs if you are in a different country, as practices can vary. Ensure that the tip is appropriate for the level of service you received, as this small detail can affect how you and your guest are perceived. Unless both parties explicitly agree to split the bill beforehand, splitting the check at a business lunch is generally not recommended. It can create an awkward dynamic and detract from the professional atmosphere. Offering to split may be appropriate in certain peer-to-peer settings, but in most cases, the host should cover the bill to maintain the proper etiquette. If the business lunch is an expense for your company, make sure you understand and adhere to your company's expense policies in advance. Some organizations have specific limits or guidelines regarding meal expenses. Ensure that your receipt is clear and meets the requirements for reimbursement. If there are alcohol restrictions, plan to avoid ordering alcoholic drinks. Whether you are paying or the other party is covering the bill, always express gratitude for the meal and the meeting. If there is any confusion or disagreement about who should pay, stay calm and polite. Handle the situation with humor or graciousness to avoid awkwardness. If necessary, gently insist on paying, but be respectful if your guest or client insists otherwise. Handling the check with discretion, professionalism, and grace ensures that the business lunch ends on a positive note. Whether you are paying or your guest insists on covering the bill, the key is to manage it smoothly, reflecting proper business etiquette while maintaining a comfortable and respectful atmosphere. 6. Post-lunch follow-up. The follow-up after a business lunch is just as important as the lunch itself. It's your opportunity to reinforce the relationship, confirm any decisions or next steps, and express gratitude for the time and conversation shared. A timely and thoughtful follow-up can leave a lasting positive impression and keep the momentum going on any business matters discussed. Within 48 hours after the business lunch, send a polite and professional thank you email. This email serves two key purposes. First is to express appreciation for the time and conversation, and second is to recap any important points or next steps. If you made any commitments during the lunch, such as sending over documents, setting up a follow-up meeting, or taking action on a project, make sure to follow through promptly. If you committed to a specific deadline, ensure you meet it or communicate any delays ahead of time. Failing to follow through can weaken the positive impact of the lunch and may affect trust or future business opportunities. A business lunch is not just about closing deals or discussing specific matters, but also about building long-term professional relationships. After the initial follow-up, continue to stay in touch with your guest or client through occasional check-ins, sharing relevant industry news, or engaging on social platforms. If the business lunch was successful and you foresee further collaboration, suggest scheduling a follow-up meeting or call. This helps keep the conversation moving forward and reinforces your interest in working together. If the other party hosted the lunch or paid for the meal, be sure to express your appreciation. You can do this in your thank you email, and again during your next interaction. Acknowledge their hospitality and offer to host next time, signaling that you value the relationship and wish to reciprocate. After the lunch, take a moment to reflect on the meeting and your performance. Consider whether you achieved the goals you set out for the lunch, how the conversation flowed, and any lessons learned for future business lunches. The post-lunch follow-up is an opportunity to reinforce professionalism, confirm business details, and maintain strong relationships. A prompt, thoughtful, and actionable follow-up helps solidify the progress made during the lunch and leaves a lasting positive impression. To sum up, a successful business lunch balances professionalism with a relaxed atmosphere, offering the opportunity to nurture business relationships in a more personal setting. So ladies, how do you navigate a business lunch? We'd love to hear your thoughts, strategies, and experiences in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more discussions.